Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue that has cast new shadows over Sonny's life and, by extension, the entire world of ABC's General Hospital. In a drama brimming with old vendettas, shadowy origins, and perilous health conditions, Sonny's fragile heart stands at the center of a growing storm. As tensions rise in Port Charles, new figures emerge from the past bearing hidden motives, while existing allegiances shift under the weight of revelations too dark to keep concealed. The fate of one of the show's most iconic characters hangs in the balance, threatening to reshape the power dynamics that have governed this city for years. Sonny's heart condition takes a serious turn. The trouble begins when Sonny's long-standing heart condition worsens to a dangerous degree. Despite the warnings from medical professionals that he must step back from his organization and prioritize his health, Sonny initially resists. Accustomed to power and confronted by a legion of dangerous enemies, he believes that stepping away from the leadership role in his crime family, even temporarily, would leave everyone he cares about vulnerable. Devoted to controlling every aspect of his domain, Sonny equates seeking extended medical treatment with handing advantage to his rivals, something he refuses to do lightly. Yet, in the face of more frequent dizzy spells, episodes of chest pain, and the potential for lethal complications, even Sonny cannot deny the severity of his condition forever. Initially, he brushes aside concerns, claiming he's fine and that it's merely stress. Carly, Michael, and other close allies push for him to heed the warnings of the doctors. Over time, they rally for an urgent intervention, recognizing that for all Sonny's bravado, his heart is at serious risk, and ignoring the issue could cost him his life. The tide of medical opinion, along with the counsel of people who truly love him, weighs heavily on his mind. Ultimately, after repeated pleas and a close brush with catastrophic consequences, Sonny relents, acknowledging that his chest pains and breathlessness can no longer be dismissed. The day arrives when he agrees to a short-term exit from day-to-day criminal operations in order to address his deteriorating health. The introduction of Isaiah. Once Sonny consents to focusing on his well-being, an unusual figure called Isaiah steps into the limelight. Practically out of nowhere, Isaiah arrives with offers of assistance, specialized knowledge, or perhaps connections that promise a more secure environment for Sonny's convalescence. Something about Isaiah suggests that he may be connected to a broader web of influences in Port Charles. Indeed, from the moment Isaiah appears, Joss is immediately suspicious, noting his curious timing and the secrets that swirl around him. While Isaiah claims purely benevolent motives, wanting only for Sonny to receive the best possible care, Joss's investigative instincts, sharpened by her recent training and membership in the WSB, detect subtle inconsistencies. For instance, Isaiah occasionally slips up by inadvertently referencing details about Sonny's past that no random bystander should know. Furthermore, Isaiah's general demeanor, alternating between guarded politeness and mysterious hints, suggests that he could be hiding more than he reveals. Joss takes mental notes each time he drops a cryptic remark or glances around as if anticipating imminent threats. She wonders whether Isaiah's interest in Sonny is more personal than professional. Soon enough, the truth about Isaiah emerges in bits and pieces. He appears to have specialized knowledge regarding cardiology or access to top-tier specialists, but none of Sonny's close confidants can recall how or why he became involved. Joss, perplexed, decides to investigate more thoroughly. Given that she possesses advanced investigative skills from her new involvement with the WSB, Joss quietly compiles data about Isaiah, who he meets with, which records he's accessed, what patterns his movements follow. Over the course of her initial inquiries, a staggering discovery begins to crystallize. Isaiah is not some random Samaritan or new medical consultant. He is, in fact, Sonny's biological child, the product of a relationship from Sonny's past that Sonny had long since put behind him. According to the details Joss uncovers, the mother of Isaiah was once deeply involved with Sonny, but he apparently never realized she was pregnant when he departed from her life. Isaiah's hidden motivations. As Joss gathers more intelligence, the full context of Isaiah's agenda becomes horrifyingly clear. Isaiah's overtures of help to Sonny cloak an elaborate scheme for revenge. Driven by resentment at having grown up without a father and convinced that Sonny ruthlessly abandoned his mother, Isaiah has come to Port Charles to exact retribution on the man who spurned them. Only one question remains: how far has he gone in orchestrating his father's downfall? In a devastating twist, Joss uncovers hints that Isaiah might be directly responsible for Sonny's worsening heart condition. The initial theories revolve around the possibility that Sonny's heart troubles result simply from his years in a high-stress, dangerous occupation. But Joss's findings imply something more insidious, evidence that Isaiah has been slowly administering toxins to Sonny, exacerbating his heart problems day by day, turning a manageable medical issue into a mortal threat. This new angle recasts every conversation and act of concern by Isaiah in a lurid light. Rather than helping Sonny manage his disease, Isaiah may have used his father's vulnerability as a gateway for vengeance. The revelation also clarifies why Isaiah seems to appear and vanish at critical junctures. He may be dosing Sonny with small amounts of a substance that aggravates cardiac stress, thereby making Sonny believe his health is failing naturally. Meanwhile, Isaiah lurks in the background, offering potential cures or treatments that never quite resolve the condition, ensuring that Sonny remains in perpetual crisis. The deeper Joss delves, the more certain she becomes that Isaiah orchestrates a slow-burn revenge plot, methodically waiting for the final blow while maintaining a benign facade in Sonny's orbit. Joss's plan to expose Isaiah. Horrified, Joss wrestles with the knowledge that revealing Isaiah's true identity could lead to catastrophic fallout. As a daughter figure to Sonny and newly minted WSB recruit, Joss feels an urgent responsibility to act swiftly. The thought of standing idly by while Isaiah covertly attacks Sonny from within is unthinkable. She decides to share the proof of Isaiah's identity and intentions with a trusted ally, perhaps Michael, or even Carly or Jason, depending on the circumstances. But her immediate choice is to confront Sonny directly about Isaiah's betrayal. The man must be warned that the person he's come to rely on for guidance or medical advice is actually his long-lost son, harboring lethal animosity. Still, there's a catch: with the WSB's involvement in her life, Joss is bound by certain protocols. She can't simply run to the authorities with half-formed evidence. She must compile a definitive dossier, ensuring that when she does speak, her claims are indisputable. One misstep, one uncorroborated statement, could spark chaos or lead Isaiah to accelerate his deadly plan. For Joss, the stakes reach the breaking point. She has to weigh the hazards of exposing Isaiah before collecting watertight proof. And that caution might cost precious time, endangering Sonny's life further. It also doesn't help that Isaiah may sense Joss's suspicions. If he indeed has the cunning Joss credits him with, he might watch her movements, intercept her communications, or even stage an attempt on her life to keep her silent. The cat-and-mouse game intensifies as each day passes and Sonny's heart condition teeters on the edge. Meanwhile, Sonny remains largely in the dark. He's aware that his health is deteriorating faster than normal, though he can't pinpoint the cause. Isaiah's presence, ironically, might initially reassure him that help is available, never suspecting that the so-called helper is orchestrating his downfall. Potential danger for Joss. In the background of all this tension, the question arises: is Joss, by investigating so intently, placing herself at risk of harm from Isaiah? Since Joss is forging a path that leads directly to his darkest secret, it's entirely plausible that Isaiah, motivated by desperation, may lash out. The list of people who vanish or meet suspicious ends in Port Charles is not short, and a young woman meddling in the affairs of a cunning conspirator could become the next victim. After all, Isaiah has already proven his willingness to cross moral lines. If he's indeed tampering with Sonny's health, harming Joss could be equally feasible. Joss, as a new WSB member, might rely on her newly honed investigative and defensive capabilities. However, WSB training does not make her impervious to surprise attacks, nor does it guarantee her the resources to tackle someone who can skillfully camouflage themselves as a benefactor. The scenario remains precarious. She wonders if she should act alone, trusting her instincts, or bring in a small circle of allies for support. The latter option could widen the net of potential targets for Isaiah's retaliatory acts. Sonny's unawareness. Throughout this turmoil, Sonny stays ignorant of the deeper betrayal. His immediate world revolves around the reality that his heart could give out at any time. The entire notion of stepping away from his organization, for even a brief window, conflicts with every fiber of his being. He imagines that if he relents and receives intensive medical care away from the center of power, his empire might fragment. And yet he has begun to sense that something about his condition is more suspicious than mere stress. Discreetly, he questions why the standard therapies haven't halted the progression of his ailment. Occasionally, Sonny might brush shoulders with Isaiah and experience fleeting moments of camaraderie, even if faintly overshadowed by intangible tension. Isaiah's manipulative flattery or feigned concern might further lull Sonny into a false sense of security, heightening the tragedy when the truth inevitably emerges. The tension within GH centers on whether Sonny learns of Isaiah's paternal link and malicious sabotage before it's too late to salvage his own health or to reclaim the father-son bond from a place of bitterness and deception. Brennan's mystery involvement. Complicating matters is the potential involvement of Brennan, the powerful head of the WSB. In earlier story arcs, Brennan's role in GH had typically encompassed clandestine operations or providing covert assistance to key players. Now, as Joss navigates her WSB affiliation, one wonders if Brennan might be in league with, or at least suspicious of, Isaiah. Alternatively, Brennan might remain preoccupied with other crises, leaving Joss to work unsupported. Tension arises if Brennan is compelled to choose between pursuing larger WSB objectives versus championing Joss's urgent warnings about a hidden threat to Sonny. The interplay between Brennan's ultimate motives and the immediate crisis remains a ticking time bomb, each character possibly stalling or accelerating the revelations that would lay Isaiah's scheme bare. The inevitable confrontation. No matter how discreetly Joss proceeds, the storyline teeters toward a crescendo of revelations. One potential scenario is that Joss manages to gather conclusive evidence of Isaiah's identity, including the paternity link and the toxic meddling. She might corner Isaiah, confronting him with documentation or a confessional statement from an old confidant of Sonny's ex-lover. Another possibility is that Isaiah, sensing that the jig is up, escalates by attempting a final blow, maybe administering a fatal dose of poison or constructing a scenario that frames Joss as an aggressor. At some pivotal moment, Sonny could learn the horrifying truth: Isaiah is not just some associate but rather the flesh and blood offspring of a past romance. That revelation alone would rock Sonny to his core. Coupled with the realization that Isaiah has systematically weakened him out of hatred intensifies the emotional stakes. The swirl of confusion, betrayal, and fatherly regret might be too overwhelming. In the best scenario, Sonny's allies intervene in time to neutralize Isaiah, saving Sonny's life before the final wave of toxins can kill him. Yet GH is known for subverting easy solutions, so the outcome remains deeply uncertain. Viewer anticipation. The storyline brims with the emotional elements that hallmark GH's best arcs: a father endangered by his own flesh and blood, a new agent in Joss grappling with moral imperatives, and a cunning figure weaving illusions to disguise a lethal grudge. The show's audience, intimately invested in Sonny's fate and Joss's evolving role, holds its collective breath. They wonder if Isaiah's cunning extends far enough to outmaneuver the sharp mind of Joss, or if Joss, strengthened by her WSB training and unwavering loyalty to Sonny, can pull off a triumphant expose that saves him in the nick of time. Yet even in that success scenario, heartbreak is guaranteed. Sonny will discover he had a hidden child, but that child wanted him dead. If the crisis ends in violence, father and son might never know reconciliation. If the show subverts expectations, perhaps they find a path to forgiveness or at least a tenuous understanding. Carly, Dante, Michael, and the rest of Sonny's circle also feature in the swirling aftermath. They might scramble to protect Sonny, attempt medical interventions, or push for deeper investigations once Joss surfaces her suspicions. The emotional weight shared by those who love Sonny is accentuated by the knowledge that any respite for Sonny's heart condition hinges on quick medical solutions and eliminating the poison if that theory proves accurate. If they fail, the scenario is dire. The Corinthos Empire could lose its figurehead, the city's precarious balance of power might crumble, and Joss could be left haunted by regrets about not acting faster. Laura writes Carly, a legacy of strength. Amid all the drama, longtime GH fans recall that Laura Wright has portrayed Carly since 2005, seamlessly stepping into the iconic role with passion, depth, and unwavering devotion. Over the past nearly 2 decades, Wright's Carly has been integral to Sonny's storyline, whether as a romantic partner, a strategic ally, or a fierce co-parent. Carly's presence is often a grounding force in GH's swirling vortex of criminal plots and personal vendettas. Now, with Carly presumably in the background of this storyline, the show uses her dynamic with Sonny to accentuate the danger he faces. Carly might demand swift answers, stand by Joss, or confront Isaiah directly if she suspects he's harming Sonny. The tension arises from the knowledge that Carly, while formidable, might inadvertently push Isaiah to escalate. If Joss confides in her mother and daughter become prime targets for Isaiah's desperation. And, as GH watchers know all too well, underestimating Carly's zeal for defending family is a fatal error that many in Port Charles have come to regret. The potential climax. As we near the apex of this tension-laden narrative, each storyline thread converges: Joss's mounting proof, Sonny's declining health, Isaiah's hidden rancor, and the specter of direct confrontation. GH typically orchestrates such climaxes in a set piece that gathers multiple characters in a single explosive moment, perhaps a hospital corridor where Sonny's heart fails again, or a high-stakes confrontation in the WSB offices. The possibility looms that Isaiah might stand poised over a weakening Sonny, gloats about how easy it was to get so close, only for Joss and possibly other allies to burst onto the scene with indisputable evidence of Isaiah's sabotage. Or maybe a twist arises: Isaiah's mother or a hitherto unknown ally steps out of the shadows, exposing the entire vendetta. Regardless of the specifics, the show is primed for a dramatic reckoning that could see Isaiah undone by the same cunning that launched his plan. Future ramifications. When the dust settles, several important ramifications stand out. First and most obviously, Sonny's future as head of the organization remains uncertain. If the poison does lasting damage to his heart, can he truly resume the punishing role of Dawn? Or must he cede leadership to someone like Michael or Dante, forever altering the power structure that has anchored GH's mob storyline for decades? Next, Joss's personal arc might revolve around balancing her moral code, cemented by WSB training, and the love she retains for her family, especially if she contemplates finishing Isaiah off should he still pose a threat. Meanwhile, Isaiah's ultimate fate, whether ended violently, imprisoned, or forced into reluctant reconciliation with Sonny, could steer months of GH plot developments, forging alliances, or igniting new feuds. In the broader context, the storyline of Sonny's hidden offspring underscores the cyclical nature of GH's generational drama. One generation's secrets spawn the next wave of conflict, with parent-child confrontations at their emotional core. Whether or not Isaiah endures as a recurring antagonist or transforms into a tragic figure undone by vengeance remains to be seen. However, the immediate question rests on whether Joss can expose Isaiah and protect Sonny's life and time, thereby halting a rampage that might tear the Corinthos clan and Port Charles at large apart. The stage is set for an epic GH arc replete with heartbreak, revelations, and moral dilemmas. Viewers, having watched Sonny's health decline, now see that it might be no random misfortune but rather the product of a malicious scheme. They also witness Joss's metamorphosis. Once a younger figure overshadowed by GH's iconic mainstays, she's now shouldering the weight of a potentially lethal secret. With every passing moment, the stakes intensify, fueling excitement and dread in equal measure. Meanwhile, the looming question remains: will Sonny find out the truth about Isaiah in time to save himself, and will Joss, newly armed with WSB skills, manage to thwart Isaiah's final act of revenge? As the GH Spoilers channel, we'll continue to track every twist in this enthralling narrative. Keep watching as the paths of Sonny and Isaiah converge, as Joss's investigations accelerate, and as the fate of one of daytime television's most enduring protagonists, Sonny Corinthos, hangs precariously in the balance. Whether the upcoming episodes deliver a glimmer of hope or a searing tragedy, it's sure to be a ride that no fan of GH will soon forget. In Port Charles, after all, loyalty can morph into betrayal with the slip of a secret, and hearts, both figurative and literal, can break without warning. Our beloved characters now stand on the threshold of a new crisis, forging alliances or enmities that will echo through GH for years to come. Stay tuned for further developments and revelations as they unfold.